Hey everybody, welcome back to the Creativity Broadcast. I'm your host, Laura Westman, here with a topic today that I think is quite cool. So today we're going to talk about a type of creativity that I am obsessed with. Anytime this comes up in a workshop or a client session, or even on West 101 podcast, I get very excited about it. People tend to get very excited about it. And I think it's because it's a very underrated type of creativity that we do not appreciate nearly enough. So today we're going to talk about receptive creativity, 3 ways that receptive creativity is happening. No, it's actually, what is it? 3 things that you do all the time that are actually a part of your creativity that you don't think about as creative at all. And they are all under the category of receptive creativity. So let's get into it. So first of all, one of the most powerful, underrated, underappreciated, underacknowledged ways that you can be in your receptive creativity is to be appreciating any kind of art. Yes, that includes watching television. Yes. So we've got watching TV, we've got watching movies, we've got looking at nature, which of course is its own version of art. We've got taking in experiences that you've had recently and digesting them and even journaling about them. So these are things that I think we do a lot and we don't actually realize how valuable they are to the creative process. But what that is kind of important in 2 different ways. So first, it has us actually on the receiving end of something someone else has made. That's important for the cosmic balance of creativity. And so much gets made all the time. It is kind of our civic duty as people, as creative people, to spend time and energy taking in the work of other people. It's otherwise we're totally off balance. So that's a long-winded way for me to tell you that you watching movies is an act of public service. You're welcome. But the other thing here that's super important is there is a very underrated part of the creative process in which we are appreciating and digesting art and experiences and synthesizing them. And when we're actually letting ourselves be in our receptive creativity, whether we're journaling about how something made us feel or we're just spending time thinking about a film after we finished watching it, we can't stop thinking about it. Those are moments in which our creative self is activated, alive, processing, creating something new in that moment. It's really important that we actually take the time and let that part of our creativity be important. Second thing, listening to music. Super creative, super receptive. And often listening to music has a lot of different effects from the perspective of receptive creativity that we never really think that hard about or talk about or acknowledge or appreciate. This is not that video, but I could do a very long video ranting about how important music is to just the human experience and how much it adds to our day-to-day life and our ability to stay alive. Not to be dramatic, but it's true. And the fact that music and musicians and artists are often being like jerked around by their industry or whatever, like it just drives me crazy because it's so critical to the human race and the human experience. Anyway, as a listener, we play a really integral part in the life of that music, in the life of that artist. But we also have a lot of different ways that we listen to music that are part of our receptive creativity. So one, sometimes if we're just listening to music to pass the time on a train ride, for example, sometimes it's your mind is also doing something else. It's synthesizing something. It's daydreaming about something. You're following a train of thought really, really far out. Or maybe you're having a really moody moment and you need that music and you need the scenery going past you on the train to feel like you're in a movie and you're the main character and going through some stuff. And those are moments where we are, sometimes we could call it daydreaming or being a little bit delusional. But what we're also doing is finding a really healthy personal way to process things that are going on in our lives. And that processing and that receiving is a really important part of our creative life and of our personal well-being as humans. So the more you listen to music, you are actually being in your creativity. You're receiving. And that is huge. The third part is about allowing ideas to unfold. So if we're being in our receptive creativity, we are not being overly demanding that any ideas come forth, take place, move forward, etc. It's almost like we're having a very relaxing afternoon and an idea is maybe just coming over to hang out for a little bit, and it may or may not stay. We don't really know, but we're going to spend some time together. And sometimes what that looks like is if you are finding yourself kind of daydreaming about something, maybe you're noodling on an idea, or you're like, what could I make for dinner this weekend that would be really fun? Maybe it's this, maybe it's this. Just sort of flirting with the idea and not really asking it to become anything super quick, but just allowing it to enter your sphere. This is a pretty important part of receptive creativity, and our non-action on it is actually really important because it gives the idea some time to unfold itself and for all the other things that are involved in that idea to then come to the forefront all in good time. And the last one I want to talk to you all about is maybe my favorite one, which is enjoying consuming. And this is like, it's hard to even put words to, but in a Creative Magic and Joy workshop recently, we were talking about experiences of like intense creative joy. And one of my participants, who I love so much, she shared this memory of being young and watching The Little Mermaid on VHS and eating goldfish crackers and having grape juice. Part of the point of Creative Magic and Joy is to talk about our creative senses and kind of get reconnected. So the fact that she had this taste memory along with the receiving of that movie, of that beautiful animation, and all the emotion that comes along with watching The Little Mermaid when you're a kid, it just really struck a chord with me. And I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop thinking about how that is actually part of our receptive, creative experience is our senses and actually enjoying taking things in. If you really think about it, enjoying a meal is a super important part of making that meal. If you like to cook for anyone, you know that it's very fun to do. But for a lot of people, the most important part is actually seeing other people really enjoy what it is that you have made. And I think that that's probably true for most people. We love to make things. We truly love seeing those things appreciated. So it's important that we play that role in art, food, all of it. I think there's also something to be said for actually when you're enjoying consuming something, you're purely in your senses. You are just so alive when you are connected to your senses and in that zone of full appreciation on a sensory level. So this is your permission to eat those goldfish and watch The Little Mermaid and actually give yourself credit for how active your creativity and your imagination actually are on a daily basis, even if you're not producing creative things. So I'd love to know in the comments, which of these do you do most frequently? does this video have you seeing some of those natural habits differently? Tell me everything. Also, what are you eating? Okay, thanks for joining me on the Creativity Broadcast. And please like, comment, and subscribe and share this channel if you think someone else will get a kick out of it. And I'll see you next time. Bye.